Jalen Johnson has been a godsend for the Atlanta Hawks. The leap from the third-year forward has been interesting to track in a year that has been a disappointment so far for the Hawks as a whole. The Hawks are 15-21, are the 11th seed in the Eastern Conference, which is way below where many expected them to be at this point, and they have all but signaled that the Dejounte Murray trade was a bad gamble to mortgage 3 first-rounders and a pick swap for. And this is just me, but I'd much rather have those 5 second-round picks instead of Saddiq Bey, who will be a restricted free agent this summer. The Hawks made the conference finals in 2021, and the last 2 years have just not gone as planned. It may be one of those cases where a front office tried to inorganically fast-track the team building process a year or two too early. Now, multiple reports, including one from Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports, say the Hawks have virtually made everyone available at the trade deadline to try and recoup assets and probably do a soft reset. Well, the Hawks have made everyone available except for Trae Young and Jalen Johnson, and for good reason. Johnson is really emerging as one of the true blue-chip versatile forwards in the NBA, making a massive leap compared to his first 2 seasons. The Hawks had hoped to pair another star with Trae Young and Dejounte Murray, but they may have already had a star in their building this whole time with Jalen Tyrese Johnson. Jalen Johnson's third-year leap has been absurd to say the least. On the year, he's averaging 15 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 3 assists per game on a ridiculous 58.5% shooting from the field and 40% from 3 on 3 attempts per game. He was having a breakout year until he hurt his wrist against the Wizards on November 25th, and since coming back from that injury, he's upped his play even more, averaging 18, 11, and 4 on 57% shooting since his return. Johnson's offensive leap has been tremendous, and it's easy to say that Trae Young's gravity has helped out Johnson, but that's only part of it. Quinn Snyder has leaned into Johnson to see just how much he can handle. He's been setting more picks for Trae Young in the pick and roll recently, and that just provides more dynamic play to me than, say, a pick and roll with Clint Capella or even Onyeka Okongwu. Because of Johnson's ability as a passer, he makes snappy decisions and is really adept at passing to the corners. He's 6'9", so he can throw more difficult passes with ease. He even throws passes from corner to corner, which is just fucking ridiculous to make. And his athleticism is ridiculous. He's liable to have 2 or 3 nasty dunks per game. He is quick off his feet, his explosion is absurd, and his takeoff spot is further away than the average NBA player. So when he catches the ball on the move, the defender is just better moving out of the way and making a business decision. I'm not even joking, it's 99th percentile level athleticism. What makes this even scarier is that he's shooting 40% from 3 this year, and it feels like defenses haven't fully respected his shooting yet. And once that happens down the road in his career, Jalen Johnson attacking closeouts is going to have opposing coaches shitting themselves. It feels like lately Johnson has also taken more responsibility initiating offense. Whether he's the ball handler in a few pick and rolls himself, or does a DHO, or feeds Trae Young the ball coming off of an off-ball action to get Trae a head start downhill. And then you can't forget that Johnson just leverages his athleticism and length to make hustle plays all over the floor and fight for offensive rebounds. I feel like Johnson is only scratching the surface of what he can be offensively, and he could possibly be someone who could be a true peer to Trae Young to trust running the offense through, as Trae continues little by little to operate off the ball more, which to his credit, he has done more than normal this season. On defense, it's just easy to see that Johnson is an impact player already. That fluid and freakish athleticism at 6'9", as well as that length, that shows up on the defensive end too. He can move his feet, he can match up with bigger players, and it feels like a lot of his impact plays have come being the low man near the baseline. He has great anticipation, great hands, and this is where most of his steals this year have come from, just from being the low man. This is the exact type of defender to put on a team centered around Trae Young. Quick, agile, long, big, athletic. Johnson is the quintessential profile of defender, the type of defender the Hawks had hoped DeAndre Hunter would develop into, and I still have stock in DeAndre Hunter, sue me, Saddiq Bey, or the guy who they gave up 3 first-round picks for, Dejounte Murray. I don't know if it's amazing or a bad thing that Jalen Johnson sticks out defensively amid a bad defensive team that ranks 26th in defensive rating, but his value and versatility on that end of the floor is clearly there. The Hawks do have some soft rebuilding to do and assets to recoup from this trade deadline, but keeping young players like Okongwu and Jalen Johnson will be key as well for this soft rebuild around Trae Young. With the skill set Jalen Johnson has now and his massive growth in year 3, it makes you wonder what he could be if he keeps growing on this trajectory. Over the next few years, if Johnson makes small but important improvements like having a tighter handle, more comfort leveraging his height to shoot over smaller defenders like we've seen him explore this season, or Quinn Snyder empowers him more to ignite transition or semi-transition making plays, I think he could be more than just your usual rising young star. It's no wonder the Hawks made Jalen Johnson reportedly untouchable in trade talks, because who the fuck knows what his ceiling could be.